Hi, my name is Selena and I'm here to do a top 5 video belatedly. So I had a lot of technical issues leading up to last week's top 5. So I didn't shoot it, but I'm shooting it now. I won't label it as a top 5, but it will still be a top 5 video. And this week's top 5 video, or last week's top 5 video, was top 5 futuristic worlds. So I'm going to share those with you now. My limits or my qualifications for being a top 5 was that it dealt with humans on Earth but in the future, humans in exploring outer space in the future, or the Earth in its future state. So if it was like on another planet but not human beings, it was disqualified. If it dealt with like a multiverse or parallel universe, or like a fairy tale retelling kind of thing in like a fairy world, that was disqualified. So those were my parameters for these books. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. Number 5 is Paulo Coelho's Shipbreaker, and this tells the story of Naylor, who is a young boy who is living in like southern United States, and during this time, a lot of the materials that we take for granted are now very rare. Oil being one of them, and also metals. So there are these like the gas ships or the oil tankers that go across the ocean have been beached on various beaches. I don't know. And so his job is to go and to mine the ships for metal, like copper. I can't talk today, and I'm not doing another take. And if they find oil in these ships, then they're in the money. It's like they've hit gold. And Naylor is one of these people who mines a ship, and he comes into money, supposedly, but it brings nothing but hardships and struggles and the adventure that is the story. So he has to now run from his own community, from people in power and others as well. And I don't want to give the story away, but it's a very good story, worth reading, and it's a good realistic future depiction. This future world is very much taken on the lines of global warming to the extreme. So what happens to our Earth if we let global warming go at the pace that it's going now? How will the Earth look later? So that's the world that Paulo Coelho builds. Number 4 is Ernest Cline's Ready Player One, and the story follows Wade, and he lives in the not so far distant future where the economy has collapsed and people are living in really bad poverty-ridden situations. And the cover depicts pretty well. If you've seen this cover, they're like trailers, but they're stacked up on each other. So it's like a mix of apartment building, those tall apartment building complexes, and just trailer park homes, and that's kind of the situation that these people are living in. And Wade spends a lot of his time escaping his poverty situation by going into a virtual world that was created by like a Steve Jobs kind of person. And this person dies, the creator of the world, very early on in the book, but he left Easter eggs, and the person who finds all the Easter eggs on this quest gets control of this virtual world. So our character, Wade, is definitely going on this quest to find all the Easter eggs, and then he has to then come upon the forces of like corporations and then other people who are also vying for control of this virtual world. And it's very much fun. There are a lot of 80s references. I'm sure you guys heard about this book a bazillion times, but it's still worth mentioning. Coming in at number 3 is Ayn Rand's Anthem. This tells the story of two people who live in what seems like a medieval community, but what you come to find out is that they're living in a futuristic world where, as time has gone on, people or the powers that be have started taking certain technologies away from them, so that at the point when we open the story, the people in that community are living in a quote-unquote medieval type world. And so our main character then stumbles upon some contemporary technology, and that changes the way that he sees himself and his role in society. And then it becomes, does he stay or does he leave? And yeah, there's a little romance in there as well. I like this book because it's a good way for people to be introduced to Ayn Rand, because it's quite small. A lot of people are familiar with her with like books like Atlas Shrugged or The Fountainhead, which are very large and intimidating, but this is not. It's cute and concise and a very good read if you want to read Ayn Rand without the commitment of a large book. Coming in at number 2 is Ray Bradbury's Martian Chronicles. Now, for us, from the perspective of 2015, Ray Bradbury is quite dated, but the futuristic world is still fairly fun to read. His writing is great, but a lot of people are more familiar with his other stuff, and very few people, I think, still read the Martian Chronicles. I taught one of the stories in this short story collection called Dark They Were and Golden Eyed, or The Naming of Names. He named it twice, and the students seem to really like this story. It takes place on Mars. There's a human colony there, and they're trying to tame the atmosphere and environment of Mars for human life. And so they've brought a lot of stuff from Earth that they're going to plan. They're basically terraforming the planet, but because they're on another planet, the atmosphere of Mars starts to change certain things in their community, and there's one character who is trying to resist this change and get back to Earth. And there's some things going on Earth too, but I won't get into that. But it's a great story, and it's, again, very short reads. A lot of these are very short reads. I don't think good science fiction has to be huge in order for it to be great. So Martian Chronicles by Ray Bradbury is, I think, I'm going to stick with this as my second favorite set of stories for a futuristic world. There's lots of stories in it, but I'm going to consider it as one story. Okay, coming in at number 1 is Douglas Adams' Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I love this story. It tells the story of Arthur Dent, who is a very much stay-at-home homebody. He just wants to drink his tea and live his normal life, but he's pushed into this space adventure, and he goes around and goes to different planets and gets caught up in the politics of the space community, and it's just really fun to read. Again, it's not that long. It's quite short to get through. I had a bit of like a mind blown experience when I was coming up with things to say in this video. I realized that I always kind of likened Arthur Dent to Bilbo Baggins. Okay, they're both homebodies. They are very reluctant heroes in these stories. Okay, they're both played by the same actor, Martin Freeman. In the more recent retelling of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Martin Freeman plays Arthur Dent, and then in the retelling of The Hobbit, Martin Freeman plays Bilbo Baggins. Same character affectation in both. I don't know. Tell me what you think about that down below. Was there anything to that? Is it just coincidence? I don't know. But I feel like they're very similar characters. So let me know what you think. That's my top 5. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.